Team here, isn't there? But now we are definitely at the point where Michael McDonnell is getting on the stage. And he's going to be telling us about practical lifestyle design.
Right, so this is the actual time when I'm here. Practical lifestyle design is about tools and strategies that you can use to make living your life that little bit easier. Rather than fighting or reacting to things as they happen, it's more about doing things a little bit more precisely and trying to engineer things to your advantage. And it's about creating principles and rules that we all live by that actually help us. So a lot of us form our beliefs and form our views and perceptions and things. They're almost given to us, or we inherit them, or basically told what's right and what's wrong, and we live in that way. But practicality is important because it's about integrating things into our lives, because there tends to be a definite difference between the strategy itself and how we can actually put it into practice. So we can read books and we can do things, but we lose this idea of practicality and actually being able to do things, which is why I think practicality is in fact king. And by keeping things simple, rather than making things complicated, we actually achieve more and do more with, actually trying to improve our way of life. So this is something that a lot of people do, is they read books or they go on courses or they study and study and study. But if they did one of those things, they'd probably get somewhere, rather than constantly on this cycle of learning and trying to learn new things. And then we sort of move towards, well, do we treat things when they happen, or do we try and prevent them? Do we put a sign up that says wet floor after someone's tripped over, or do we, put it up there in the first place? So rules are a way of constraining our actions in a way that actually benefit us rather than hinder us. Things like emails. So I make sure that my emails never go to thousands or millions, as some people tend to. But there are ways that, if you can batch do them rather than doing them every day, or, I hold meetings with people that are 10 minutes rather than trying to make them last an hour. And I tend to see things like emotions and feelings as being recipes, so we can actually design things how we want. And there are things that stack up. So things like happiness, quite a neat way there. So if you think about how you're actually happy, what it takes for you to be happy, whether it be time with friends or otherwise, success, whether that be business, a certain amount of money that you're earning, or whether it be a certain type of business, or whether it's a job or a house or whatever, there are certain things that make us feel a particular way. But what if you don't actually know? If you don't actually know what it takes, you haven't done the work in the first place to decide what it takes for you to feel a certain way, you're making your life very difficult. So I use the analogy of rolling your life uphill rather than pushing your life downhill. It's much easier, as I'm sure you're aware, to push your life downhill rather than forcing it uphill. And how we tend to do this in the real world is we operate around patterns. So there are two images there. We've got a young woman or an old woman. Hands up if you can see the old woman. Hands up if you can see the young woman. All right, so that's just proof there that everyone sees things in a different way, but we're both right, because there are two things going on. And we have certain patterns that we recognize, and we run through them, and they create habits that give us a reward or feedback, which causes the cycle to keep going. And randomness tends to be the strategy that we use, or that I use, in a way of breaking this up. So if you do things differently all the time, your brain doesn't know which one to keep. So eventually you start taking things away, you start deciding what not to do, deciding how to live a bit more effectively, which is what lifestyle design is, or what I think it should be, and what I think being practical and keeping things simple is all about. And when I put this together, I had a bit of a thought around generalizing the whole thing and summarizing the whole thing, and I realized that these things happen anyway. It would just be nice to be able to influence things for a change and try to actually engineer things to suit us and actually serve us better other than hinder us. Thanks for watching.